soft beep echoed in the small control room of Earth's outer orbit station. 7. It was quiet, almost too quiet until technician Lena glanced at her screen. A strange signal blinked across the monitor. It was not from a satellite, not from Earth, not even from a known alien system. It was a repeating signal, coming from deep space. The rhythm was not random. It had a pattern. Lena's eyes widened. It was an old communication style, something not used in centuries, something very human. She called her supervisor. "Sir, I think we just received an SOS," she said, trying to stay calm. The man leaned over her shoulder, eyes fixed on the screen. The pattern was clear. It was an emergency code once used by old Earth space missions. But there was a problem. No mission had ever gone that far into deep space. The source of the signal was in a sector completely uncharted by Earth. The news spread quickly. Within hours, Earth's United Space Command gathered for an emergency meeting. Scientists, generals, historians, and codebreakers sat in a round table deep underground. The decoded message was short but powerful. "Help us. We are still here. We are waiting." The words repeated over and over. No name, no clear origin, just the coordinates of a system that had no known planets or life. It was located past the Oort cloud, beyond any human exploration so far. The historians were confused. The language? "It's human," one of them said. "But old, very old, and slightly changed, like it evolved separately for a long time." That single sentence sent a wave of shock across the room. The question was simple. How could there be humans out there? And if they were human, who left them behind? For the next 2 days, experts from around the world worked non-stop. Some believed it was a trick. Others were sure it was real. Earth had made contact with many alien species in the last 100 years, but never like this. This was personal. This was a cry from one of their own. At last, Earth's leaders agreed. They would send a mission, but not just any mission. This one had to be silent, fast, and careful. No public announcement, no media, just a single ship with a hand-picked crew. Their task? Travel to the source of the signal, investigate, and report back. If the message was real, they had to be ready for anything. The ship was named Stellar Dawn. It was the most advanced explorer Earth had ever built. Inside, a team of experts prepared for a journey that no one had ever taken. The commander, Captain Elias Rourke, stood silently in the hangar. He had seen war, he had seen space diplomacy, but he had never seen a mystery like this. "Why us?" asked one of the crew, a young engineer named Kira. Elias looked up. "Because we're the only ones who will go." Before launch, the crew gathered in the observation deck. Outside the glass window, stars shimmered quietly. The destination lay somewhere out there, in the cold dark space where no signal had ever come from before. The signal continued to play through the speakers. "Help us. We are still here. We are waiting." The moment arrived. The Stellar Dawn lifted off, cutting through Earth's upper atmosphere. The crew felt the engines hum as they pushed past the moon, past Mars, past the known edges of the solar system. As they reached the boundary of deep space, something strange happened. The ship's AI detected a faint object near the coordinates. It was metallic, floating quietly in the void. It was too far to be seen clearly, but the AI picked up its shape, a structure, not natural, not alien either. It resembled something very familiar. It looked like an old human space station, but records showed nothing had ever been built in that region. It was impossible. The captain ordered the ship to stop. "What is that doing here?" he asked aloud. No one had an answer. As they approached the structure, the signal changed. A new message started to play. This time, in a voice that it was human, weak, and afraid. "You found us. Please, hurry." Silence followed. The crew stared at each other. Something or someone was waiting. And whatever had happened out here, it was far from over. Back on Earth, the signal suddenly stopped. Now, only one thing was clear. Humanity was not as alone as it once believed. And something lost had been found. The Stellar Dawn moved through the dark ocean of space, silent and steady. Behind it, Earth faded into a small blue dot. Ahead, only mystery waited. The crew felt the weight of history on their shoulders. They were not on a normal mission. They were following a message that came from beyond the stars, a message in human language, from a place no human had ever reached. Captain Elias Rourke stood in the center of the command bridge. He stared at the large display showing their path through space. Around him, his crew worked quietly. There was Chief Engineer Kira, young but brilliant, Dr. Hassan, the team's scientist and historian, Commander Valen, the calm and experienced pilot, and AI specialist Remy, who was watching the strange behavior of their onboard systems. The crew had been silent for hours. Each one was lost and thought, who sent the SOS? Were there really humans out here? If so, how did they get there? These questions echoed in every mind, unanswered. Suddenly, the ship's AI, named Luma, broke the silence. "We are approaching the outer boundary of the Oort cloud," she said in her calm voice. "Unidentified object detected. Distance, 0.02 light years. Show us," Elias ordered. On the screen, a structure slowly came into view. It floated alone, far from any planet or star. The shape was strange, part machine, part unknown. Long dark ring spun gently around a glowing core. It was not natural, but it wasn't alien in design either. There were marks on its surface, words. In old human script it says, Gate 01 pathway protocol active. Dr. Hassan whispered. No one spoke. The room filled with a heavy silence. How could this be here? Kira asked softly. We've never been this far. Earth never built this. Maybe Earth didn't, Elias said. Maybe someone else did. Long ago, the gate began to light up, one circle at a time, as if waking from sleep. The ship's sensors picked up a narrow tunnel forming in front of them, an artificial path through space, bending gravity and time. It's opening for us, Valen said, her voice low. It's responding to our signal. Captain Elias looked around. He knew this could be a trap, but he also knew this was the only path forward. We go through, he said. The crew secured their stations. Lights dimmed. The tunnel ahead shimmered with strange colors. The stellar dawn entered the gate and everything changed. The feeling was unlike any jump they had made before. Time stretched, bent, and folded. They were surrounded by silence and soft light. Then, without warning, they came out on the other side. The stars here were unfamiliar. The map showed no known location. They were completely outside explored space. And there it was. A planet floated in the distance, its surface gray and broken. A weak sun cast long shadows across it. There were signs of cities' ruins now, half covered in dust and silence. Orbiting the planet was a station old, broken, and nearly invisible. The signal was coming from there. Prepare a landing team, Elias said. We need to see it with our own eyes. As they moved toward the station, the crew began to see more details. The station had human designs or locks antennae, even an old-style docking port. But it also had parts that were clearly alien. Smooth, glowing materials fused with human steel. Something had joined with them, or maybe something helped them survive. The landing team entered the station. Inside it was cold and silent. Power was weak, but still flowing in some parts. They found empty rooms, old equipment, and strange symbols on the walls, some in English, some in an unknown language. Then they found it, a sealed chamber. Inside, a small AI core still blinked. It powered on as they approached. Human life detected, it said in a soft fading voice. Who are you? Remy asked. I am Eco-7, last AI of the Dawnlight colony. We sent the signal we hoped someone would come. The crew stared in disbelief. How long ago? Hassan asked. 361 years, the AI replied. The crew was stunned. A lost human colony, left behind centuries ago. But Earth had no record of any mission that far. How could this be? We were part of the First Reach program, the AI continued. Sent by the Early World Union, we arrived through the gate, guided by ancient star charts. But we were not alone. The AI paused. The world changed. The people changed. And then, they vanished. What do you mean changed? Kira asked. I cannot explain. I was only designed to record. But I know this something came. Something we did not understand. And now, it may still be here. The station. Lights flickered. A deep sound echoed through the walls. The AI began to glitch. Warning. Motion detected outside station perimeter. Elias looked at his team. We're not alone. Back on the stellar dawn, the ship's sensors picked up strange readings. An object was moving through the dark, toward them. No signal, no ID, only one thing was clear now. The mission had just become something far more dangerous, and someone or something was watching. Asterisk. A low hum filled the air inside the ancient space station as the landing team stood in silence. Dust floated like ghostly fog, disturbed only by their slow movements and quiet breathing. Behind the cracked glass of the control room, distant stars blinked calmly, unaware of the mystery unfolding. Captain Elias Rourke stared at the flickering AI Corco 7. Its voice had grown weaker. Its last words repeated softly in the background, something we did not understand. It came, it changed them. The rest of the crew remained still, trying to process what they had just learned. A human colony, lost for over 360 years, had somehow survived here. They had built this station. They had sent the signal. But where were they now? Check the station's memory banks, Elias said firmly but quietly. Let's find out what really happened here. Remy, the AI specialist, moved to the nearest terminal. Her fingers tapped quickly. After a few minutes, a section of corrupted data unlocked. Faded video logs played across a cracked screen. The first one showed a group of early human explorers, tired but smiling, standing proudly in front of the colony's main gate. Their clothes were old-fashioned, their accents were strange, but they were human. Log after log, the story unfolded. The colony was once full of life. They had farms, schools, labs, even families. They talked about building a new future, far from Earth, in a place untouched by war or politics. But then, the logs changed. One video showed the sky above the colony turning dark. A strange cloud had appeared, not weather, but something else, something unnatural. People reported hearing whispers in their minds. Machines stopped working. Lights flickered. One log showed a child speaking in a language no one had taught him. Another showed two people staring into space, unmoving, eyes wide open. The last video was the shortest. It showed the colony gates open, empty streets, and a voice whispering, "We are still here, but we are not the same." The screen went black dot. Kira stepped back, a chill running down her spine. What happened to them? Before anyone could answer, the station's emergency lights turned red. The AI's voice returned, now shaking. Motion detected near dock level. Unknown form approaching. Back to the ship. Now, Elias said sharply. They moved quickly, retracing their steps through the narrow corridors. But as they reached the airlock, a deep vibration echoed through the walls. Not an attack, not a weapon. It felt more like something ancient had awakened something old and watching. The Stellar Dawn's crew on the bridge watched in silence as an object appeared in orbit just above the station. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't natural. It was a black, smooth structure, slowly spinning in place. Scanners couldn't read it. It gave off no heat, no signal. It was invisible to everything except the human eye. "It's observing us," Valen whispered, "like it's trying to remember us." As the landing team boarded the ship, the structure vanished. No flash, no noise, just gone. Once safely inside, Elias gathered the crew. They were human. They came through the same gate we used. They lived here, but something changed them or took them. We don't know if it was natural or something else, but it left a mark. Remy stepped forward. There's more. The AI mentioned the colony, had help from a species they never fully understood. The logs call them the Old Ones. They were here long before humans arrived, Dr. Hassan added, and the strange thing is, some of the symbols on the station match carvings found on Earth, deep in ancient caves. Symbols we never could explain. Everyone fell quiet. This mission had started as a rescue. Now it was something else entirely. It was a mystery about Earth's past, about humans possibly reaching the stars long before they were supposed to. And it was clear they were not the first to pass through that gate. The Stellar Dawn left orbit. Another piece of the signal played, this one different from the others. A voice, clearer now, spoke. "If you are hearing this, then we are part of you, but we cannot come home, not as we are now." The transmission ended. Elias leaned back in his chair, thinking hard. "Prepare for a deep scan of the surrounding system," he said. "If there are any signs of life or ruins, we need to find them." But no one could ignore the feeling in their hearts. Whatever had changed the colony might still be out there. And the question was no longer, what happened to them? Now it was, are we next? The stars outside the observation deck seemed still, but the crew of the Stellar Dawn felt something different in the silence, like the calm before a storm. Captain Elias Rourke stood quietly, watching the vast black space through the glass. The memory of the signal's final message repeated in his mind. "We are part of you, but we cannot come home. Not as we are now." The ship drifted above the broken planet, systems running slow scans in every direction. Down below, the lifeless ruins of the lost colony lay in shadows. The crew had found no survivors, but the signs of life of history were everywhere. Yet something remained. Hidden, something deeper than ruins or old machines. Dr. Hassan studied strange symbols collected from the walls of the old station. They were not just art, they were instructions. A map, and maybe a warning. "Captain," he said slowly. "This wasn't just a colony. I think this was a kind of research site. The humans here were working with something they didn't understand, something not from Earth." "What kind of research?" Elias asked. "The kind that opens doors to places not meant to be opened." As he spoke, the ship's lights flickered for a moment. Luma, the onboard AI, made an announcement. "System interference detected. Energy spike coming from the planet's surface. Unknown source, possible structure, buried underground." Elias gave the order without hesitation. "Prepare a survey team. We need to see what's down there." The shuttle descended into the thick gray atmosphere, gliding toward a rocky valley near the colony. The ground below was cracked, lifeless, and cold, but as the shuttle approached, strange geometric patterns could be seen in the stone, like something had shaped the land long ago. When the team reached the site, they stood before a giant stone wall, half buried in ash. Unlike the rest of the colony, this structure looked far older, smooth, weathered, and silent. In the center, a large circular door stood shut. No controls, no panels, just a symbol, a triangle within a circle glowing softly. "That's the same mark we found inside the station," Kira whispered. Dr. Hassan stepped closer. He reached out, hand trembling slightly, and touched the symbol. The glow grew brighter. Then, without sound, the door began to open. Inside, they found a vast chamber, lit by dim blue light. The walls pulsed slowly, as if alive. Along the walls, ancient carvings showed shapes that were half human, half something else. At the far end of the room stood a platform. On it, a single device floated in Madeira black cube with moving lines on its surface. "It's some kind of core," Remy said, scanning it. "Energy levels are stable. It's transmitting something." As she spoke, Luma's voice came through their coms. "Caution. I am detecting an external signal, now merging with ship systems. Unknown language detected. Interference increasing." Before they could respond, the device activated. A holographic image filled the room. It showed the planet as it once was, full of life, both human and alien. Then came the change. A wave of dark energy swept across the surface, and the life faded. The final image showed the same black spinning structure that had appeared near the station, now larger, pulsing slowly, and watching. Then the hologram spoke. A voice neither male nor female echoed through the chamber. You opened the gate. You heard the signal. Now, the cycle begins again. The cube deactivated. The lights dimmed, and the silence returned. The team stood frozen. Something ancient had been awakened, not by mistake, but by design. Elias called to the ship. Prepare for immediate extraction. As the shuttle returned to the stellar dawn, strange readings filled the sensors. In the space above the planet, something was forming, a shape, a presence, invisible to machines, but clearly felt by every human on board. Valen, watching the main screen, whispered, "It's like space itself is shifting." Back on board, Luma reported a chilling update. Something has entered the system. It is not transmitting. It is not visible. But it is here. What do we do? Kira asked. Elias looked around the room. We continue. Whatever happened here is not over. And now, we're a part of it. Suddenly, a hidden panel in the ship's cargo bay unlocked. Inside, the crew found an old data drive marked with the same triangle and circle symbol. No one had placed it there. The message inside was simple. To understand the present, return to the first gate. Everything began there. Everything changed there. Elias nodded. Plot a course. Back to the gate. No one said a word, but each of them felt it. The journey was no longer just about a signal. It was about something far older than humanity, something waiting in the dark, and something that had now opened its eyes once more. Asterisk. The return journey to the gate was quiet but not peaceful. A strange presence had followed them from the broken world, though it made no sound and left no trace. The crew of the Stellar Dawn could feel it like a shadow in the corners of their thoughts. The lights flickered now and then, systems slowed without reason, and even Luma, the ship's reliable AI had moments of hesitation in her speech. Captain Elias Rourke stood alone in the command bridge. The black cube they had recovered from the ruins now rested in a sealed chamber. No one dared touch it again. No one understood it, but everyone felt its importance. Whatever the cube had shown them about the lost colony, about the strange structure, about the cycle, it was not just history. It was a warning, and perhaps something more. Luma spoke softly, almost as if whispering, approaching original gate coordinates. Unusual activity detected. The gate is no longer in passive mode. The screen showed the giant ring they had passed through days earlier, but now it was fully active. Glowing symbols danced around its structure, and a soft pulse of light moved through its center like a heartbeat. Valen, the pilot, stared in surprise. It's responding to us again, but this time, it's doing more than opening a path. Suddenly a new window opened on their display. A message not from Earth, not from the ship, but from the gate itself. It wasn't in words. It was in pulses, patterns, memories. Luma translated slowly. Identity confirmed. Human presence recognized. Response protocol initiated. Return to origin chamber. Unlock memory. The phrase repeated twice, then faded. What origin chamber? Asked Kira. Dr. Hassan tapped into the ship's archive. He pulled up the holographic log they had recovered on the colony world. In one frame, behind the old ruins, was a place labeled Chamber of the First Arrival. It must be on the same planet, Hassan said. Buried, we missed it before. Elias nodded. Set course. We go back. Though the crew didn't speak, it allowed every one of them felt it. They were being guided now, not by orders or science, but by something else. The signal had reached humanity, but now, something else was reaching back. The ship returned to orbit. Scans now showed a deep canyon, previously covered in thick layers of dust and rock. The energy from the cube seemed to have shifted something. Inside the canyon, a structure rested round, smooth, and massive. No entrance, no markings, just silence. As the landing team touched down and approached the structure, the cube and Remy's backpack began to glow. Without warning, the side of the structure opened like flower petals, revealing a stairway leading deep underground. Step by step, they entered the chamber. Inside, they found a circular hall, walls covered in carvings. Not just alien symbols, but human hands. Palm prints, footprints, messages in old Earth languages, mixed with ones unknown. It was like a time capsule left by many generations. But from where? At the center of the chamber was a large stone platform. The cube lifted itself from Remy's pack and hovered above it. The moment it reached the center, a beam of light shot upward, revealing a hologram of stars. But this time, it wasn't just the past. It showed Earth. Then it zoomed out. It showed dozens of signals sent across space. Some reached nothing, others reached someone. Then it showed multiple versions of the Stellar Dawn, slightly different in design, traveling across the galaxy and other timelines. What are we seeing? Whispered Kira. Remy answered, her voice soft. It's showing us what could have happened, what did happen, somewhere else. Parallel choices, paths. Then the message came, through the same voice they had heard in the ruins. Humanity is the variable, the one piece that changes the equation. You were not chosen. You were noticed. The light dimmed. A final message appeared. To complete, the cycle is to begin it. Will you step forward, or repeat the past? Then the chamber began to tremble. The team raced back to the surface as the structure slowly collapsed inward gently, like it had finished its purpose. Above them, the gate pulsed, brighter than before. Back on the ship, Luma reported an incoming object, but it was not a threat. It was a ship, an old human ship. Its design matched records from over 300 years ago, long before modern Earth had developed faster-than-light travel. It's the original expedition, Dr. Hassan said. The one that was lost. A voice came through the com. Weak, tired, but clear. This is Commander Uhan Voss of the Earth colony vessel Pioneer 1. If you can hear this, we've been trapped between gates. We need help. But we also need to warn you, something moves between the stars. It watches. It learns. And now that you've answered the signal, it knows you. Elias responded calmly. This is Captain Elias Rourke of the Stellar Dawn. We hear you. We're coming to bring you home. But as the screen faded, another alert appeared. From deep space. Another gate was opening. Not the one they had used. A new one. One that had been sealed until now. * a low, deep hum filled the command bridge of the Stellar Dawn. Everyone felt it not through their ears, but through the walls, the floor, the very air. It was like space itself had taken a breath. On the central screen, a new gate shimmered into view, forming slowly in the darkness far ahead. This one was larger than the first, more complex. Its rings spun in opposite directions, and unfamiliar symbols danced across its surface like moving stars. No one had ever seen anything like it. Captain Elias Rourke stood in silence. Eyes fixed on the screen, Luma confirmed. Is that one of our gates? The AI answered after a long pause. Negative. This gate does not match any Earth design. It does not match any known alien technology either. Its structure is self-generating. It wasn't built, it grew. The crew exchanged uneasy looks. What does that mean? Kira asked softly. Dr. Hassan stepped forward. It means this gate is alive, or at least, partly. The mysterious transmission from the old Earth ship, Pioneer 1, still echoed in their memories. It watches. It learns. And now that you've answered the signal, it knows you, that new gate. It wasn't just opening by chance. It had awakened because someone or something had chosen this exact moment. Luma interrupted again. New energy signatures detected, multiple vessels emerging. The crew rushed to the main screen. Out of the growing gate came ships not hostile-looking, not shaped for battle but graceful, strange, and unfamiliar. They floated without sound, as if they were made of light and shadow. Each vessel shimmered as if partly out of phase with reality, like it was slipping between worlds. They're not attacking, Valen said. They're just watching us. A message came through, not in words, but in feelings and emotional wave, translated by the ship's AI. Observers of the path, watchers of change, you have stepped beyond your story. Dr. Hassan took a step back, stunned. These beings aren't part of any known species. They're not travelers. They're the ones who wait, who observe when intelligent life reaches a certain moment, Remy added. They've seen this before, many times. Across galaxies, they wait until someone hears the signal. Kira frowned. Then why did they let that colony fall? Why not help them? Luma translated the next part of the message. Help was offered. Choice was given, but not all chose the same path. The meaning hit hard. Humanity had been given a choice long ago, but not all of them accepted the offer. The ones on the lost colony may have taken a different path, a path that changed them now. Another choice stood before the Stellar Dawn. The shimmering gate ahead opened fully, revealing a star system unlike any they had seen. Floating cities, strange light patterns across planets, and a central structure glowing like a heart. But it wasn't just beauty, it felt like a question, waiting to be answered. Captain Elias understood. They're not forcing us to go. They want to see what we choose? Valen asked. And if we don't go, then we stay who we are. We return to Earth with answers, but without the next question. Dr. Hassan looked out the window, eyes shining. This is why they sent the signal. Not to save the colony, but to invite us. Not all of us. Just the ones who listen. Elias turned to the crew. This isn't just about survival. It's about becoming something new. Silence filled the room, not from fear, but from awe. They had the coordinates. The gate was open. The path was waiting, but just as they prepared to move forward, a final message came through from the old Earth ship, Pioneer 1. The voice of Commander Voss was clear, calm, and filled with emotion. We couldn't make the choice. We hesitated. We got lost between gates, between what was and what could be. If you've come this far, then you're closer than we ever were. Don't wait too long. The path won't stay open forever. The voice faded. Captain Elias took one last look at the Earth behind them, so far away now, almost invisible, and then to the path ahead. Prepare the ship, he said quietly. We move forward. The Stellar Dawn drifted toward the glowing gate. As it entered, the stars around them began to shift. Light bent, time slowed. Not in a dangerous way, but in a graceful, inviting one, like the universe was making space for them. Inside, they saw visions not just of the future, but of many futures. Worlds where humans worked beside beings of light, Cities that floated above oceans made of sound, a child holding a glowing orb that could sing across time. Places that were not just distant, but different. Each vision asked the same thing. Will you choose wonder over fear, discovery over comfort, change over control, and humanity through the crew of the Stellar? Dawn answered, not with weapons, not with fear, but with a single step forward into the unknown. And in that moment, the entire galaxy watched.